Last Friday, I completed 14 days of isolation or 14 days of quarantine from the COVID-19 virus. The whole story is kind of a surprise, and I'd like to spend a moment to relate it to you today. That was last Friday was my last day of the quarantine. 2 weeks earlier, I think it was roughly on a Tuesday morning, I got a call from our local pastor, Jim Stauffer, and said, John, he said, I have COVID, or he has COVID-19, not I. And so he said, the health department's going to be calling you probably today to set up a program because you're going to probably be in isolate, or it's a silly word, in quarantine for 14 days. And so I waited for the call and it came. But before that, I would give you background on what just happened. Jim and I are good friends, and I was out there on a Friday in his office for probably 25 minutes with no mask. And apparently he had it at that time. But I had no mask. I spent about 25 minutes there, and I'm sure we were probably at the closest 3 or 4 feet apart, but not 6. And anyway, it was my fault for the carelessness of not wearing a mask in the inside. But I wear a mask in stores, I wear a mask in restaurants, I wear a mask at just about every place I go, but I didn't and I haven't used it inside very much like that. And I've told my students when I was a teacher that you never assume anything because you can break that word up into 3 syllables and that's what happens. So I did make kind of a big mistake. But the health department called and set it up, and they gave me a choice of either doing it over the phone. They had to call me every day. I could do it over the phone, or I could have it text to me. The eval, or I don't think the word is a survey, but the test itself. So I took it over to have them text message it to me. And that first day, you get the text message, and it asks you to take what your temperature was in the morning and what your temperature was in the afternoon, and you have to put down the time that you took your temperature and then what it was. Well, thank goodness I went out to Drug Mart and bought a nice thermometer because I didn't have one that I was really comfortable with. The one I have is really good. So that was almost my first move on a Tuesday. And then back to the survey, they also ask you to check if you had any of these symptoms. And I'm going to read them to you, and I guess I'm not, but they were, diarrhea, they were, excuse me, headaches, sore throat, upset stomach, fatigue, things like that, and you just checked it. And then they also ask you if you've had taken any aspirin or Tylenol or Motrin, things, any kind of aspirin type pill. They ask you if you took that or not. And then there was one more question, any other symptoms that you felt that you had that wasn't on the list. And then you submit that, and every day for 14 days. In fact, it goes through 14 days because my last one was on Friday. But that's part of that's what you need to expect. Now, as far as things, I don't know if I did anything more unique than anybody else, but I decided that I was going to win the battle with this 14 days By saying that, I mean I followed all the rules to the point that I didn't take anything that I touched and gave it to anybody. I, I just didn't make, in fact, contact. I, I saw my friend Tina for a few minutes on one day, but we were probably at least 10 feet apart. My daughter, Kristen, dropped off some different foods for me 2 days, and they were 10 feet apart. The grandkids came down in the car and didn't get out of the car, and I waved to them and joked with them from 10 feet apart. So I wanted to go into this 10-day or 14-day period that I was going to win, that I wasn't going to do anything to agitate the situation. And I'm sure people do. Now, I spend time outside. I live in the country, so I spend time outside, which I think is the safest place to be. And didn't go to McDonald's because, I go there every morning at 6:15, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I didn't do that because I didn't want to touch anything, and I didn't want anybody to give me anything that was touched. So McDonald's was out. I learned to make breakfast. I learned to make, well, I can make breakfast, but I did scrambled eggs. I had banana and eggs and things like that, and tomato juice. And the other thing that I have done, and this goes back to when this first started, I believe in zinc and I believe in vitamin D, and I also took some, I think it's pronounced quercetin. I take that every day. But the zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, those things I believe in, and I take those every day. And I really think it helped me fight this disease a little bit, or the virus. And then the other thing that I try not to do is I try to really cut down on sweets, because I think sweets I've been told, can wear down your body defenses, and I didn't want anything with that. So I cut back on sweets. No Pepsi, no ice cream, tough, no cookies, no candy or anything like that for 14 days. As of today, I'm fine. I don't have any symptoms. I haven't had any symptoms. So hopefully I can fight them off. I'm probably going to get it, but I'm going to be extremely care. And I will say one thing, I promise you that I will be wearing a mask almost every place when I go away. Not outside, probably. I think outside, I think it's so healthy. Maybe if it's colder, it's not as healthy, but I just think it's healthy. Mask, I thought I'd show you my latest. Now, I'm a big Matt Campbell fan. We're good friends. He's the head football coach at Iowa State. So I got on the internet and I ordered an Iowa State mask. Now, this is really cheap, if you can understand what I'm saying, but I just bought it. I have 3 of them, Iowa State, and I bought it and I wear it. Usually I just wear a mask, white mask, but in the mask, and whether you like it or not, I wear a mask, and whether you like mask or not, it's your choice. I hope this helps a little bit. I'm working on video. I'm trying to come up with something with my football business, but I wanted to take a few minutes just to say about, this is what my 14-day period was I keep using the word isolation, of quarantine. This is my 14 days, and I think I'm going to run out and get tested to see if I've had any COVID, the virus, at any time. So appreciate your time, and it's just very immature, but I thought I got my point across. Thank you.